We are Flint River Presbytery.
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 A multi-part video series by Presbyterians for Presbyterians. The vision of our executive presbyter, We Are Flint River Presbytery, introduces church members and church officers to the shared mission, organization, and resources of our presbytery right here in Southwest Georgia.
We work with a group called Rise Against Hunger, and we contract with them, and we have a blitz. We have a beautiful Sunday where 5 different locations are meal packing stations, and each station packs 10,000 ready-made to eat meals that provides food for a family of 4 for an entire day. All the nutrient and protein and starch needs they need. And it's shipped across the globe. It's sometimes even shipped in the country where there's areas of that have had a natural disaster, but across the globe people receive these meals. So on this blitz, our Presbyterian church packs 50,000 meals in an afternoon, and you're in a room with people from 5 and 6 different church communities, and it's fun and it's joyful and it completely connects who you are with the people in your presbytery.
It's basically a bunch of different people from different Presbyterian churches come together, and we pack meals for different places each time where people are starving, and it's really fun. Different churches will come and we get into groups. I'm usually a runner, which means that I run around carrying baskets to people, and every time we pack 1,000 meals, we ring a gong, and usually, I don't remember what our high was, but at least 10,000 meals like each time, and it's really fun.
Rise Against Hunger we've done the last few years as a presbytery, and it's an external group that comes in with their process, and so the gist of it is that each cluster hosts one, so it'll be at one site in each of the 4 clusters, and all the cluster comes to that one site, so we are all participating, all different members of different churches, in doing a mission outreach project, and in this case it's hunger, and so you work together to put small food kits together in a 2.5 hour process. You can do 10 to 15 to 20,000 meals in one afternoon, and then Rise Against Hunger, the organization, will take it to where it's most needed around the world. And so it is our response, one of our responses to reaching out to those whom Christ called us to help.
And if you're looking and you're not growing emotionally, spiritually, and you're not walking the path that Christ asked us to walk, which was literally all about outreach. I think as long as we keep our eyes out on what are we supposed to be doing and giving to our immediate community and the community in large, that makes sure that we're putting Christ in the center of what we're doing. But another thing about our presbytery that I love is that we use outreach as a way to unite us. We have community outreach, not just what's happening in our local churches.
We have some other mission programs. The Rise Against Hunger is certainly an excellent program that we do, and I think it's wonderful. And I recently heard the gentleman come down and talk to us about an expansion of that to help people become totally independent, not just to be continually fed, just like I was talking about the Walter Flint Fund. Let them become independent by providing them water and agriculture and animals and the whole aspect of self-sustainment in the process. And I think that has some potential to help beyond the local presbytery, but worldwide, with folks who are hungry to start with, and you try to solve that problem, and then you can grow into a bigger aspect of that whole thing. I thought that was a wonderful picture, and it requires partnerships, which we love to do in Presbyterian, with other organizations besides just the Rise Against Hunger group they would, of course, facilitate that, and I think that has great potential.
We do things together. One of the things we do is something that Committee on Mission and Evangelism does, is our Rise Against Hunger event every fall, where we, at 4 different sites around the presbytery, we pack about 50,000 meals that are shipped overseas, sometimes to this people in country, to people in need. And the churches contribute the money to that, and they show up for a couple of hours at one of these churches and form an assembly line and pack. And it's a wonderful thing to see. It's 2 hours of joyful mission ministry.
So, Rise Against Hunger is an organization that takes really basic things like rice and soy and puts them all together in bags that will feed a family a meal. And what happens is you set up different tables, and churches from a cluster. Clusters are groups, like if the presbytery is the umbrella, clusters are the people under the umbrella, right? So a cluster is a group of churches that are all in the same area, and they come together, and in like an hour and a half or 2 hours, we packed 10,000 meals. First Warner Robins hosted, and it was just really cool to see it happen and see the difference that we can make when we come together.
Shared mission. I speaking only for myself, can sometimes get really caught up in the details of an event, and sometimes an event feels so big and stressful that you maybe don't even venture into it because of the cost of it and the planning and all of that. Rise Against Hunger is the way it is structured is meant to be a lot of small groups coming together to do something big, and it's meant for every age under the sun. And there is something gorgeous about the body of Christ of all ages. And my children have participated in Rise Against Hunger since they were potty trained. So like I to be able to do that along with somebody that's 90 years old.
Okay, so we called the Celebration of Faith the learning party. We call Rise Against Hunger the dumping party. Because it's when everybody gets together and they're throwing stuff in the big bins. And I told that to my son. He's like, oh, that. It's a nice time of just connecting and doing something really important, but also kind of silly at the same time. Because it's kind of crazy to get together and dump stuff into stuff for a few hours.
And it's everybody putting a little bit into the pot to be able to buy the food. And it's everybody coming together to make it happen. And I think at the Church of Jesus Christ, like we really do as a body need to be doing things with our hands and feet. And we are part of a bigger body of believers. And we're part of this bigger message of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And what it means to go out into the world and feed my sheep. And Rise Against Hunger has been just a glorious way to be able to do that. Small churches coming together. And generally a church will only host once every few years if you want to host it all, and you don't have to. It's a beautiful, easy way to make a huge difference towards hunger. And the more we do things together, the more we feed God's sheep together, the better we are. The more we're proclaiming what we believe with our wallets and our time.